It is time for an Engage Halloween banner. At least that's what the silhouettes look like, right? It's definitely gotta be Tamara in there. I'm just hoping we don't get another female Aleer ult, and hopefully they spread the love a little bit. Either way, let's jump in and see who we are working with. Okay, first up is Tamara. Not a surprise in the slightest. I think everyone saw that one coming. Trick or meat. I like that. That's pretty good. She looks good. I like that art. Okay, so we have a Lance Infantry. Let's start off with the preference weapon, Inspirited Spear. Okay, so what we have here is we have Slaying, and then at start of turn, if there's a foe within 3 rows or 3 columns of Tamara, she's going to give herself and all allies within 2 spaces a visible speed and defense plus 6 buff, right? So that's pretty good. Nice little support there. And then at start of enemy phase, though, for any foes within 3 rows or 3 columns centered on Tamara, she's going to inflict guard on them, so a visible guard debuff, which is really, really strong. And then also if the foe has an offensive special, right? Like, so like, you know, Moonbow, Ether, whatever, right? And their special is greater than or equal to 1. This won't work on units with Slaying and running a 2 cooldown special because they can't really go up, right? But if Tamara has more defense than those units, she'll inflict special cooldown plus 1 on them. So this is really good as like anti-infantry pulse tech essentially, right? Like if they're trying to like pre-charge big specials like AoEs or like even like things like Hardy Fighter, right, with like a defensive cooldown, this could turn it off. So this makes the Tamara into a very nice support unit where she can provide visible buffs and inflict guard and inflict some special cooldown like shenanigans, right? And then also at start of combat, if her HP is greater than or equal to 5%, she's gonna get plus $5 stats during combat. She's gonna inflict attack speed and defense minus X on the foe during combat, where X is 15% of her defense at start of combat. So what that means is it's gonna be the visible 15% of her defense, right? So if she has like 50, it's gonna be like 7.5, so it'll get rounded down to like 7, right? Which is not bad, it's pretty decent. And then she also gets 40% of her defense whenever her special triggers, excluding AoEs, and she gets 7 HP after combat. So it's a very interesting weapon. It's kind of all over the place, right? It has a lot of powerful supportive effects, but then it also gives her some effects so that she has a good amount of stats in combat, and she gets a lot of damage based off her defense, which should be like a callback to her preference skill in Engage. So I think this is a pretty cool weapon. Now let's move down to Bonus Doubler 4, and essentially what this is going to do, it works the same as Bonus Doubler, but it also considers bonuses on allies within 2 spaces. So the way this will work is like, let's say you have your main unit and they have plus 6 to all stats, and then your ally within 2 spaces has plus 7 to all stats, it will take that plus 7 to all stats and then add 4 to it. So you'll get plus 11 to all stats during combat, but it calculates each stat bonus independently. So like depending on which buffs are where, you can get higher levels of stats, right? This is cool because it gets around some of the like lull effects or the dull effects, right? That are pretty common in the meta at the moment. We have seen effects like this on like Ashera and stuff before. Not exactly this, but pretty similar. And it's a cool like workaround to get around some of those effects that just nullify your bonuses. So nice little upgrade for Bonus Doubler here. Overall, it does give more stats too. Before, Bonus Doubler typically gave plus 6 to all stats, plus 7 at max really. But now you're gonna get that 4 plus stat. So you can easily get like plus 10 to all stats just from Bonus Doubler 4, which is a nice solid upgrade. We then have Spurn 4 and Time Swells 4, some nice tier 4 skills for Tamara, just so that she won't have to fodder off anything to her. Okay, so when it comes to roles, what does Tamara really want to do? She wants to be a support melee unit. Like she's in an interesting position where she can't act as like a god lance, right? She could definitely do that for sure, where you can like go for the whole typical build of like, you know, distant attack speed solo, or even like, you know, prime or something like that, and then you have Spurn Times Pulse, and you kind of like cycle Vital Astras, right? It's pretty standard here. The thing is with Tamara that's gonna make her stand out is that unique support. That's really what's gonna make her stand out a ton, as it's gonna allow her to like shut down a lot of different strategies. It's gonna allow her to get those visible bonuses that she wants, and it also allows her to hit really, really hard. Because, right, Vital Astra in itself already hits pretty decently hard with the 30% of your speed. But when you add 40% of your defense, and I'm assuming Tamara will have pretty solid defense, she's going to hit really, really hard. And she has that built-in healing. So she's going to be pretty good where she's going to be able to secure kills pretty easily. She's also going to have a way to like turn off foes specials, so she doesn't die very easily to like, you know, pre-charge Deadeyes or things like that. And she gets some healing. So like overall, I think she's a pretty solid unit. And when it comes to roles, right, she's going to be playing that support unit. She's going to be playing that like Omni tank unit. You could probably use her as a melee frontliner as well. When it comes to game modes, I really think that she's going to see the most play probably in Eat the Raids offense, right? Being able to turn off like those like pre-charged special teams would be pretty nice. And then she can also act as like a God Lance and tank stuff as well. It's possible she shows up on Eat the Raids defense because that like guard aura thing she has is really good. We've seen it on Arvel and it works really well on them, right? So I wouldn't be surprised, but like at the same time, it's kind of hard to always fit a melee frontliner onto those kind of teams. Overall, pretty solid and unique unit. Let's move on to our next one. Okay, it's Flame. I was wrong. It's not purely engaged. We got 3 houses in here, because of course we do. Let's see what Flame does. Okay, so we have a staff cavalry unit with Kitty Cat Parasol as our preference weapon. Okay, so what this essentially does is you get a Wrathful Staff, you get Slaying, and then for allies within 2 spaces of Flame, she's going to give out a Drive, which gives special cooldown charge +1 per attack, so that's special acceleration. She's also going to be able to neutralize the foe's attack bonuses, which is nice, and then they're also going to get 30% damage reduction, kind of like base Flame has as well. And then if she initiates combat, or if she's within 2 hits of an ally, she's going to get attack and res +6, and a guaranteed follow attack. Overall, this weapon seems okay. It's not bad, right? Like, it's going to give you some nice support effects as a staff unit, and you can definitely use it to, like, you know, support units like an Eat to Raise offense or something like that. I don't think there's anything insane here, but it is very nice. Then we have a new B skill, Dazzle Fartrace, and this is going to enable Cancel Ram +1, inflict speed -4 on the foe during combat, and the foe cannot counterattack. This is really, really good. I think this is much better than the dazzling effect we have on like Alentia for Cavs in particular, right? Because the thing with Cavs is you really don't need teleportation all that much, especially in like one warping teleportation, right? It's not the biggest deal. So being able to get Canto Rem instead of that, I think is much, much better. And it's going to be just a really solid fit. I can see this being used on pretty much every single staff Cav that needs dazzling. When it comes to roles, I think, you know, Flame just wants to be a support unit. That's pretty much what she has that makes her unique. She does have Slaying, so she can do some damage, you know, if you want to go for that kind of route. But mostly what she's going to be doing is just supporting allies. Typically in Eat the Raid's offense, I don't see this really unit being used anywhere in Summoner Duels ever. She just doesn't really have the kind of kit that you need for Summoner Duels. But in Eat the Raid's offense, I think she'll be able to work really well there. You know, giving that special acceleration you might want. Neutralizing the foe's bonuses to attack is also very good. And of course that damage reduction, which base Flame already had. Overall, decent unit. I'm not really super impressed, to be honest, but I do think she's like a solid upgrade over base Flame. Okay, who is going to be our demote? Oh, Seedall's our demote? Really? They're going to do Seedall that dirty? They could have done Flame dirty instead. He looks really good. So we have a red infantry mage. Is he going to have a preference weapon? Nope, sure isn't. Okay, so we have Pumpkin Stem Plus. At start of turn, if he's within 2 spaces of an ally, he's going to get attack and rest +6 to himself and allies within 2 spaces. It's nice, just visible bonus buff right there. And then if he initiates combat, or if he's within 2 spaces of an ally, he's going to get attack, speed, defense, and res +X during combat, where X is 4 plus the highest bonus on each stat. So like this is going to be pretty much the same thing as like bonus doubler 4, but built into a weapon. Honestly, not a bad weapon. I think Arcane Eclipse is probably still better overall, but if you're just looking for a nice little demote weapon, I think this is a solid pick. Cool thing is he also has dance, so we do get a nice dance demote, which is always good. Never can have enough dancers, but the fodder here, that's what the real thing I'm looking at. Attack res finish 3 is a big fodder to be able to get, even if it only is in the special summoning pool, because Rearmed Ophelia has attack res finish 4 naturally, which means now that we have a way to have that, we can easily get like maximum inheritance off of Ophelia, even for like res units. So you can go for like, you know, the Tome, attack res finish 4, special spiral 3, and then times +4, something like that, right? Which is really nice. And then lastly, infantry nullfall 3 on a demote is like chef's kiss. I know it's a special demote, but even so, this skill is so utterly valuable, and I've been trying to get it so much, so seeing it on a demote is really good. Okay, who is going to be our final unit? Who is going to be the duo or harmonic? Cool animation. Our harmonic is Anna. Fedison is going to freak out. Fedison's probably having a heart attack right now. Let's start off with the preference weapon, Payday Pouch. Okay, so essentially what this does is you get speed +3, and then if Anna has a number of bonuses active on herself that are greater than or equal to 3, she's going to get Canto 2. So that's pretty cool already. Canto 2 is nice. But then at start of turn, she'll get additional effects based on the number of allies within 2 spaces of her. If it's greater than or equal to 1, she gets the Null follow-up bonus. If it's greater than or equal to 2, she gets Hexblade, which is really good. And then if she initiates combat, or if she's within 2 spaces of an ally, she's going to get all stats +5, and then she'll get an additional attack and speed +X, where X is 25% of the foe's visible attack at the beginning of combat, -8. So at max, you're going to get +10, which is really strong, right? Attack and speed +15 is ridiculous. And then also if the number of bonus effects active on her is greater than or equal to 3, she'll also have the foe's damage reduction by 50%. So this is a pretty powerful weapon. Now there's quite a few hoops to jump through. I will say you have to have a lot of bonus effects active. You also have to start the turn with allies around you to get really like the full package of what Anna wants to do. But even so, you get a very powerful axe unit, right? You're getting Kanto, you're getting no follow-up, you're getting Hexblade, which is a ton of damage. You're just getting a ridiculous amount of stats, and you're going to be having damage reduction. So very, very powerful weapon here. The only thing I'm noticing here is that she doesn't have slaying, which can be a holdback. But if you look down a little bit farther, she does a Gambit 4, so that's probably why. So when it comes to fodder, she's attack speed prime 4 and Gambit 4, which are just both insane foddering skills. The problem is that they both will take the entire inheritance, right? We don't have Gambit 3, we don't have attack speed prime 3. So if you want one of them, you're only going to get one skill from this Anna. We also have a new C skill, attack speed rain snap. So this was introduced on Bryosiri, but it was like speed defense instead. At start of turn, if you have an armored or infantry ally within 2 spaces, you'll also get move 1 extra space to the unit themselves and all infantry allies with range equal 1 and all armored allies. So like the rain snap skills are really, really underrated at the moment, and the reason for that is they're just not available, right? Only Bryosiri has them up to this point, so it's really difficult to say just how good they are. And they also take up a C skill on a flying unit that could be like Guidance 4 or like Soaring Guidance, right? So I think these are really, really, really good skills, and I don't think they should be underrated at all. So I'm glad to see there's another version of it, even though I really wish it was attack defense rain snap so I could kill her for Altina, but obviously that's not happening quite yet. Either way, this unit looks pretty strong. So when it comes to roles, what does she really want to do? This is a nuke. That's what she wants to do. She wants to go in and she wants to just annihilate something, right? She wants to go in and absolutely destroy it and then Kanto out to like protection. She's going to be able to be a little bit bulky thanks to the Gambit 4, right? Gambit 4 is not only going to give her more true damage, but it's also going to give her that damage reduction so she can survive that first hit and then get the second hit in and just destroy something. And she's also going to be very, very mobile thanks to the extra movement from Rain Snap. When it comes to game modes, where she can be really used, it's kind of an interesting thing because you could use her in something like Summoner Duels possibly, right? She's going to be able to nuke really hard. The thing is when it comes to that, you really want to run something like Guidance or Soaring Guidance instead of Rain Snap. The only reason why you wouldn't want to run Soaring Guidance or Guidance is like maybe if you already are like running Hinoka or another unit with Guidance or something like that, and you want to use Anna as like your premier sniper, right? Like she wants to just go in with that 3 movement and then kill something and then get back to safety. So it's not impossible to use her there, but I don't know exactly where she'll fit in perfectly. When it comes to other game modes, I'm not really sure either. Like she's not really a great Gale Force user because she doesn't have slang. She also doesn't have any type of special acceleration or anything like that. So like I'm sure you can make her Gale Force, but it's gonna be a little bit more difficult than your average unit. It's possible she could be a hit and run unit. I'm not so sure though. So I'm not exactly sure where this unit fits, but let's look at her duo skill. Maybe that will help us out. Okay, so we have the Harmonized skill. It grants Resonance Blades and Resonance Shields and restores 99 HP to unit and allies from the same titles. Grants special cooldown count -5 to unit. Wow, this is ridiculous. At first I was like, this is a terrible Harmonized skill. Like this felt like the S-Strength of Harmonized skills where you just really don't ever need 99 HP healing. But now it's pretty good. Like being able to pre-charge a Miracle immediately, or even be able to pre-charge like an AoE, or like pretty much any big special. Like pretty much you'll either do Miracle or you'll do like an AoE or something like that, right? Like that's typically what you're going to be going for like something like Summoner Duels. And that can be really, really good, right? Because it can allow Anna to go in, smash something. She has Miracle up, so she's probably fast enough not to get doubled, and she can survive thanks to Gambit. And then you can like use her as like a pretty much like a bouncing board, like to launch the rest of your team in to kill things. This is really interesting. Now the thing is like it's mostly a selfish skill in my opinion. Resonance Blades and Resonance Shields isn't really that big of a deal to pop on like a Harmonized skill, especially in SD, like it's taking a turn up. You can use it to stall, obviously. The HP healing can be very clutch in certain situations. We've seen this on like, we've seen this on like Duo Ymir and also like Duo Duma and stuff like that. It can be very good, but it's not typically the best duo skill. It's like decent though. So very interesting. I'm going to be interested to see how people use this, and I also can't wait to see Fezzan's reaction because I know he's going to freak the fuck out. Okay, let's answer the final question. Should you pull? Now, when it comes to this banner, I'm going to be honest, I don't think there's anything like meta-defining here. I don't think there's like any insanely broken units. I think there's some nice units here and some definitely nice fodder. So when it comes to reasons to pull, I think the number one reason is if one of these units are your favorite, right? If Anna is one of your favorites, obviously you can pull here. You're getting essentially the Tiki situation where you're getting 2 Annas at the same time. So like, you know, if you're a big Anna fan, go for it. Also, Tamara is a big fan favorite as well. Unfortunately, Seadoll is like a demote because I know a lot of people love him as well. And then there's Flame, of course. So if any of these units are your favorite, there's a reason to pull, obviously. And then also if you're like need fodder, right? If you really want Gambit 4, here's a chance to get it. If you really need like, you know, Prime or whatever else, here you go, right? There's some great fodder here. So if you're looking for those reasons, that is a reason to pull. When it comes to reasons not to pull, I think there's just a ton, right? I don't think this banner is like meta defining. There's no like unit here I think that's gonna like destroy everything or be like absolutely broken. Also, I don't think any of these units like do anything so unique that they're like needed or like they're gonna like change any like specific strategies. They'll kind of just fit in wherever they want. Also, you do have to remember it is October already, so that means that next month we will be getting the Ninja banner. Typically, the Ninja Duo is very powerful, so you might want to save some orbs for that. We also have a decent Legendary banner at the end of this month and a crazy one in November, typically with 2 new Legendary or Mythic units on that banner. So that's also more reasons to save orbs. And then lastly, of course, we have the new book coming in December, which could have some crazy stuff as well. So if you aren't like a big fan of these units, I would not recommend summoning. I think personally, I might not summon as well, even though I really would like to get some Sea Dolls just for some fodder. I think overall, I just don't need any of these units. But now I'd love to hear from you. What do you think of this banner? Do you think this banner is insane? Do you think it's kind of tame? And how do you feel about the choices of units on this banner? Are you happy to see so much Engage? Or would you like to have seen Flame kind of like swapped out for another Engage character? Either way, make sure to drop a comment down below letting me know. And as always, I'd like to thank all my members for their constant support. If you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. This has been Oblivion. I'll catch y'all later.